Good morning, everyone. I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want first? I think I kind of know what you're going to say because I know all of you very well. It's my second year with you all. When you graduate next year, it will be the end of an era for me. In the past 3 years, I will have become a different teacher, hopefully better. So I know you all very well. So I know that when I say, which one would you like to hear first, the good news or the bad news? Okay, the good news is that you are at home doing this and you have a very short assignment after watching this presentation and interacting with it. That's the big deal about doing it on YouTube like this. You will be interacting with me in the chat box. You have a poll to vote for. You can answer my questions. It is not just watching a video. I'm not just making you a video. Hey, go watch this. I'm actually in the chat participating with you all on days when I only have one class. And it would be a crime to make a person take a bus and a train and walk in the rain. Hey, that even rhymed. Walk in the snow just to go and teach the one class. So that's why we're doing it online. But it's effective. We've been doing it like this since the pandemic, and it works. So the good news is that you also, this short assignment will be on something that you know, perhaps you don't remember, but you know. So let's talk about adjectives and adverbs. Yesterday, I sat next to one of you and I observed how you worked with it, the theme of adjectives and adverbs. I would like all of you right now to type in the chat box your definitions. Do not look up something online. Do not ask ChatGPT. Do not Google this. Just write how you perceive these two elements of grammar, adjectives and adverbs. You have learned them in Norwegian. You have learned them in German. You have learned them in Spanish and also in English. Go. I will be interacting with whatever you write in chat. So, from my understanding, everyone is on the same page when it comes to adjectives. I don't think it's difficult for anyone to tell me what an adjective is. I've heard year after year my students talk about adjectives. Hey, just describe something, right? But then how about adverbs? Aren't they also descriptive? But in what way? So let me give you an example in Norwegian. I'm not going to pronounce this, but I just want you to look at that. So there is the word that I'm going to highlight in yellow. What is that? If I just give you that word and say, hey, tell me, what is that word? Is it an adjective or is it an adverb? All of you, except for one of you, have Norwegian as their very first language. But all of you speak Norwegian fluently and probably will put Norwegian first when you talk about your language of choice or the language that you speak better than the others, right? So just that word that's highlighted in yellow, if you just look at that word in isolation, you will probably tell me that it's an adjective, right? But in that sentence that I'm giving you right now, and I'm going to translate it, this here, when I translate it, it should become clear to you that it's an adverb. What is the word adverb? Did you know that ad, that comes from Latin, and it means in the proximity of, near, right? So adverb, in the proximity of, near a verb. So in theory, adverbs are near the verb. I want you all to type as quickly as you can. Which one of the elements in the sentence is a verb? And when you pronounce that word, I want you to vibrate your V's. It is a verb, right? It's an easy question, I know, but I want you to type in chat. And everyone is typing to feel, right? I feel well. He does not feel well today. So when you say, I feel well is an adverb. I know there's a song, I feel good. Da, 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 da. There's a song, right? There's something called poetic justice, poetic license, which means that you can change grammar around and just say whatever you want because you're using your poetic license. So there will be songs where the singer will say, he don't care about me. He's singing it. He wrote the lyrics poetically, and he used the auxiliary verb don't instead of doesn't, even though grammatically it is incorrect. On top of poetic justice, I have told you this before, I'll say it again. There is something called linguistically correct versus grammatically correct. So, what is linguistically correct? If I come in and say, yo, what's up? Everyone knows that I'm asking hello. I'm saying hello and I'm asking, how are you? Is it grammatically correct? No. Yo is not even a word. What's up? That doesn't make any sense. So it is inappropriate. It is not academic language, but it is linguistically correct because everything that you say that promotes communication, you open your mouth and somebody understands what you mean, that is linguistically correct. But in academic speech, it is inappropriate to use very colloquial, very informal language. Grammatically correct is everything that's said with perfect grammar. And that's what we're after here in academic writing. So when people say, I feel good, that is not grammatically correct, but it's linguistically correct. But you should know that the adjective is good, the adverb is well. So I want you to remember this even after I'm gone. I want you to remember this even when you're no longer studying English, but when you're doing your master's degree, doing your doctorates, when you're studying abroad, when you're working in Canada, Australia, the United States, South Africa, Zimbabwe, I don't know where you go, where you're going to go. I want you to know how to use these words correctly. And I'm not saying this just for the sake of saying it. My students have a history of studying abroad, living abroad, working abroad. One of my very beautiful success stories is Olivia. She's living now in Canada and she has been living there for over 20 years. She became a Canadian citizen and she studied English with me at a binational center where I worked for 12 years in Brazil as a professor and lecturer and teacher. And she now uses English every single day for work. She works with documents in English. And I see you doing something fantastic with your lives in the future. So now, really quickly, I'm going to give you the word and you're going to tell me. You're not going to tell me. We're going to type in chat adjective or adverb. Let's go. She works hard. Is the word hard an adjective or an adverb? Go. In this sentence, the word hard is an adverb. Ad from Latin, in the proximity of, near, near the verb to work. She works. How does she work? Hard. So hard is an adverb. Hard is an adverb in a sentence. Next one. Ben is a hard worker. Adjective or adverb in a sentence. It is an adjective. I don't know what that was, but I'm probably never doing it again. It was not funny. So Ben is a hard worker. In this sentence, in this case, hard is an adjective. Why is it an adjective in this case? Please explain in the chat box. Type away. Or maybe you're doing this. Maybe you're sitting on the bus. Maybe you're on your phone. So maybe you're doing this. Maybe you're doing this. Why is hard an adjective in a sentence? Ben is a hard worker. So here we have the same word. She works hard. In this case, hard is an adverb. Ben is a hard worker. In this case, hard is an adjective. And your explanation is probably right because you're all very good students and you know what you're talking about. I observed you yesterday. I saw that most of you, I'm going to say all of you. I'm not even going to say most of you. All of you know what an adjective is, what an adverb is. But I feel like there is some confusion in some cases. So I think it's important for us to set the record straight. So hard is an adjective in this case because it describes Ben as a worker, not how he is feeling or how he does his work, but it just describes him. right? I'm just checking the time that I have. I'm using Clipchamp for this. It's the new platform we're using with the school, and I can only record 30-minute videos, but I will be available on Teams, on video, for any questions and anything you need after this. Let me give you another example. Here we go. Okay, that was a big mistake. Let's bring it back. All right. I normally come here on Sundays. Normally, adjective or adverb. Go. I normally come here on Sundays. Normally. Normally, if you said adverb, you were correct. So a lot of these words that end in ly, they are adverbs. However, there are adverbs that don't end in ly. For instance, well, hard, fast. Those are all adverbs that don't end in ly. So I say, Ayrton Senna was a race car driver. He drove fast. Michaela was a model who worked very hard. I am not feeling well because I ate 2 Ho-Hos and a Twinkie. So I'm not feeling well. Working hard, driving fast. So those are adverbs and they don't end in ly. But most of them do. I'm not going to say well, let's go with most of them. But you have to know the difference, okay? Next. Jake usually sleeps with his light on. The word usually, what is it? Adjective or adverb? If you said adverb, you're right. Now I have another question for you. What would be an adjective form of the adverb usually? I want you to write a sentence. You're going to change the word usually into an adjective, and you're going to write a sentence in chat. Go. I'll interact with you in the chat box because this is what this is an interactive presentation. I'm in chat with you right now, typing. Unless, of course, something happened because this is shown to you with a delay. So if something happens to me within minutes of finishing this and you're watching this after I'm no longer around, then I'm not interacting with you. But if I'm alive and well, I'll be interacting with you. So if you change the word usually into usual, you're right. The movie was about the usual suspects of a crime. So usual, the usual suspects. I'm now using that word that's an adjective. I'm describing the suspects, right? Correct. Next, Melissa hardly ever works. So I told you that hard on its own does not need an ly to be an adverb, with the exception of hardly. Question to you. Is the word hardly the same as hard? Type yes or no in chat. And if your answer was no, you are correct. Because the meaning of the sentence, Melissa hardly ever works, what does that mean? You know, my stepsister is called Melissa. Let's hope she never watches this because she actually works really hard. I kind of gave you the answer, didn't I? So hardly means that she actually doesn't do a lot of work and she doesn't work hard. But if I say she works hard, it means she works a lot and with a high level of intensity. That is the difference. Let me just check how we're doing for time. We're doing well for time. Okay. Next. He is a slow reader. He reads. Please complete that unit of thought right there. He is a slow reader. He reads slowly. However, and this is a big however, I'm going to show you something now. Let's go to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Let's write this in here. Okay, so they're putting down slow as an adjective, right? And also as an adverb. Let me zoom in. Slow versus slowly. So it is determined already that slow and slowly are both adverbs. They can be used as an adverb. Some commentators claim that careful writers avoid the adverb slow, in spite of the fact that it has had over 4 centuries of usage. In actual practice, slow and slowly are not used quite in the same way. Slow is almost always used with verbs that denote movement or action, and it regularly follows the verb it modifies. Slowly is used before the verb, a sense of outrage which slowly changed to shame. And with participial adjectives, a slowly dawning awareness. Slowly is used after verbs where slow might also be used. Burn slow or slowly. So the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which is something that I always tell my students, Collins, Merriam-Webster, those are very good dictionaries to use. They're English to English dictionaries, although I know that sometimes you might want to use a dictionary from Norwegian to English, those school dictionaries, the blue ones. that everybody used to have back in the day. Those are really good. So we have 5 minutes to end this. So I'm going to ask you to get your phones ready because we're going to do a Quizlet live. I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I'm just going to get something that somebody else made. Let's hope that, what is this person's name who created this? I'm going to take a look. Jennifer Alami says teacher here. So let's hope that with the grace of our Lord that she did a good job with this Quizlet study set. This is the one we're going to use today. So please grab your phones and get ready. Remember, this is being recorded with a delay, so even though I'm live with you, you need to get the code from the chat box, not the code that you see on the page here. For Quizlet Live. I've been using Quizlet Live for almost 10 years. In 2025, it will be my 10-year anniversary with Quizlet. And it has worked very well for me. It really has. It has worked incredibly well. I realize that some people say, oh, Pollyanna always uses this. She always is. Well, I do a lot of other stuff too. But it's okay to usually do something that works well. Nothing wrong with doing that activity if it's working. So remember, do not use the code you're seeing on the screen. Use the code that I put in the chat box for you because that one's live. What a big mistake using this. It's just really very confusing. I'm leaving a bad review to this quiz.